And I was devastated. Like I would be so upset and crying for days.
Just because someone else is winning doesn't mean you're not. You maybe need to reframe some things or rethink some things or change path.
Everyone thinks I'm loaded. I'm not. Like I still have a house to pay off, and every single dime from my Amazing Race win went into that investment.
Craig Ramsay, our featured guest, is an internationally recognized figure in fitness, stretching, and motivation. This best-selling author and sought-after speaker is originally from Harrow, Ontario, and divides his time between Canada and Palm Springs. Known for his remarkable energy, positivity, and resilience, Craig is celebrated nationwide as the co-winner of the Amazing Race Canada. His diverse background includes training with the Royal Winnipeg Ballet and performing in major Broadway shows such as Mamma Mia and Fiddler on the Roof. Craig's unique expertise seamlessly merges performance, wellness, and mindset, making his personal story a powerful testament to movement, growth, and living life to its fullest potential.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Cracking the Success Vault with Spectre Group. Today we are joined by Craig Ramsay.
Yeah.
I am super excited to have this conversation. We had a really great FaceTime there a couple weeks ago.
We did.
I got to learn a lot about you.
Probably
and
too
your
much.
life. No, not too much. Is it too much?
Well,
come on.
We'll let the audience
Let the
judge
audience decide.
today.
That's right. But I don't think not everybody knows your story. Obviously, you do have a great social media presence. You've done reality TV, Broadway, musicals, other things. But let's kind of start from the very beginning.
Okay.
Where did Craig grow up?
Yeah.
How did he grow up? Ooh. And then what kind of led you into this path of, I'll call it like fame / reality TV / stuff, and we'll get into the rest later.
I don't get the fame portion often. I like you. Thank you. Well, I think that's generous. Thank you. But yeah, I grew up in Harrow, Ontario. I'm a county boy, and I loved it. I had a great upbringing, supportive family, thank God, and great community. And I always loved to perform. And I think everyone noticed that. So they tried to support me as much as they could. But obviously there's limits to how I can expand and grow my entertainment abilities in Harrow. But then I got lots of opportunity in Windsor to work with a lot of community theater. And I went to WCCA program for the arts in midway through high school. And then I went for a year and a half to University of Windsor for their BFA musical theater program. I found that the program wasn't a great fit for me because I was truly obsessed with performing and not wanting to write down about performing.
Got it.
You know, with a degree program.
Actual
so that's my
doing,
fault.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. Right. That's my fault for not researching what would have been the best match for me. But a valuable experience. And then danced, always had this love for ballet, even when I considered myself more of an actor singer, but I was very flexible. Even as a hockey player, I was doing those double axels and triple lutz on the ice, and I loved ballet, and I was able to attend the Royal Winnipeg Ballet from university. Okay. As a student on full scholarship, thank goodness, because that is a very expensive genre of the entertainment industry. And then got back to combining all of them, singing, dancing, and acting, which led to a really lucky and wonderful Broadway onstage performing career. Yeah. Yeah, and then I got reality TV, kind of fell into my lap.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a sec.
So that's the upbringing.
That's the upbringing. Yeah. And we talked on the phone when we first met there a little bit about obviously being gay, being open.
Who, me?
Who you? Right? What? But as a young kid in country Harrow. Yeah. How was that like? Because it's not like it was now, where it's a lot easier to be open and a lot easier to just express yourself. But growing up, I'm sure it was difficult.
Yeah, big sip here. Here we go.
We're gonna get into the real weeds of this.
Yeah, and I don't even know if I would make the statement that it's easier now. I think that the social media aspect has a whole different level for especially youth coming out. Okay. But I can definitely speak for my own experience. And growing up in Harrow, if anyone's not familiar with Harrow, it's one of the smallest communities in Essex County. And I think it lent itself to have huge benefits for me because it was so small and everyone knew each other. And with that, I think we all loved each other. Like everyone was somewhat of an outcast when there's only a certain number of people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we all can relate to each other with that. And there's a sensitivity to it, at least when I grew up. And I think that adults know who you are before you do as a youth. And I think that it was quite obvious to a lot of people, but not to me because it was my journey.
Right.
And like I often talk about this when I go with a keynote on equality and diversity, in the sense that when I was young, it wasn't about the sex or the sexuality aspect of it. Something was different with me, right? And there was like this air of lightness, if you will. And I found that the adults really protected me, which was lovely.
That's great.
In community, in school, and in my church, even the United Church in Harrow. And I was protected through those development years that I wish all children had, and they don't. So I would say Harrow is truly the greatest place to grow.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why you're moving back. You guys are moving your life back.
Well,
to
the
Harrow
truth is too, like some people know this, a lot of people don't, is that I really never left. Like, as I said, Harrow isn't Broadway, Windsor isn't Broadway. And for years I kind of judged on like inappropriately the area because I didn't understand why it couldn't provide me the satisfaction of my career that I wanted. So as I mature, it obviously became obvious that I was reaching big. Like I wanted it all. I wanted the big Broadway stage. But with that, I never considered New York my home, LA my home, on tour with Mamma Mia for 2.5 years throughout the US. I always considered Harrow my home. So whenever I had a retreat or a vacation or time off, I would come to Harrow, but I would regroup. It's sort of like in Forrest Gump, Jenny, when she would go back home and she is just hibernating. That's what I would do. And it was at my parents' house. And now I live next door to where my parents' house was.
Yeah.
So it was a good transition, but I never really left. I never felt like I left.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's one thing to like have these like big dreams and these big aspirations of doing these things. That so many people can get lost in what you become and who you have to maybe become to do these things.
Right.
Because I just had another episode of this podcast recently where like the whole conversation was about like knowing who you are and knowing what your purpose is and knowing the things that you want to do versus the things that maybe you're driven by your ego or you're driven by, trying to prove other people wrong or what, versus doing what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Did
you ever have any of that?
I really struggled with, as most LGBTQ youth would. I overcompensated for aspects of myself, which actually led to a lot of survival skills, if you will, which lent itself to a lot of benefits on The Amazing Race, which is why I feel a lot of LGBTQ people do really well on reality shows of that nature, because we know how to handle stressful situations, get out of problematic, dangerous
situations,
obstacles. So there's definitely aspects of myself that I hid for years or downplayed, which is just not, that's what happens.
Yeah.
If I could tell my younger self, I would have said, be authentic. When you surrender to being your authentic self is when your career, the universe will align all of the potential for you.
Right.
And it wasn't until I did that into my, I would say, really late 20s, even though I was out and accepted myself to some degree, I still was holding back thinking this is what the world wants to hear from me.
Right.
And I shouldn't have cared. If I tapped into that earlier, I mean, everything happens for a reason, but if I tapped into that earlier, I think I would have had greater success, but I'm certainly happy with what unfolded.
Yeah. And where you're at now.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously. And so you have the ballet in Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Right. And then when did sort of the reality TV and all that kind of stuff sort of come about in life? And how did that come about in life?
9/11 really changed me as a performer. I was with Mamma Mia on tour in Boston, and I was staying at the DoubleTree with a lot of the terrorists. And so the next day,
oh wow,
was really hit home like that. It was a shocker. And I really didn't want to perform in Mamma Mia that night, nor did a lot of my castmates.
Sure.
But we took a vote if we were going to, and collectively we decided to do it. And that night, I have never seen a larger attended group at the stage door. And they weren't there for autographs, they were there to thank us. And it really pivoted how I look at the entertainment industry. And I found myself wanting shows that really make a difference, like Fiddler on the Roof. All shows are a great experience for me, but the ones that stand out are the ones that have a message that challenges society and makes people think. And I was so fortunate to do a lot of great shows like that, like Stephen Sondheim, How Princess Bounce, the Fiddler on the Roof on Broadway was one of the most special shows that I've had the privilege of doing, and even Cats to some degree. Don't spit out your coffee, because
I was gonna.
Cats is, I think, is a really fun shift of energy for an audience. But my career got to a point where I became frustrated sharing someone else's story, and I felt like I wanted to focus on my own journey and who I am as a person in relation to fitness. So I was overlapping training a lot of my castmates on Broadway. And there's, as you can imagine, there's a lot of like eating problems, eating disorders, self-body image issues that exist there. And I found that I was feeling like I was making a difference, and in turn feeling a different pride in myself, that I wanted to expand that into reality TV. So I didn't jump into reality TV like competition shows or anything like that. My first one was Bravo's The Intervention, which was a weight loss show.
Oh, okay.
Helping people transform their lifestyle, which in turn helped them achieve the physique goals that they wanted. But that wasn't the point. The point was to change your life.
Right. And is this right around the time when like all of the like big weight loss shows were like a big thing? The
Biggest
Loser and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. I was ghost training, which is off-camera training for Biggest Loser,
Oh,
the
really?
Perfect Push-Up, all of these huge infomercials. I was part of the success of but all the behind the scenes. Not that I needed the credit for it, but I think that reality caught up with me where Bravo reached out, and they were certainly interested in me bringing that expertise, but in front of the camera. I think that at the time, though, the only concern was they were afraid that it was going to come off because I've had an established acting career, that I was acting the part rather than actually knowledgeable and able to guide people through the process of life transformation.
Right. And so is this process of life transformation, fitness, working out, et cetera, is this something that you picked up in high school? Is it something you just learned as you started to become more involved in the actual ballet and Broadway shows? Is it something you just learned because of your own physique, wanting to stay fit, and then transition to others? Or have you always had this like desire and knack for fitness?
Wow, that's a really good loaded question. I'll break it up into 2 points. The first is that I've always been really sensitive and caring person. Like I am half Lenore, half Chuck, my parents. And when my mom got sick with fibromyalgia, it destroyed me. Destroyed me, where I took it upon myself because it was really hard for her to get answers. I was like, I'm going to find the answers.
Right.
So like I went to the bodies exhibit and had a full month there trying to study the body. And in that process, it opened me up to sensitivity of other people's struggles around me. That's why on Broadway, it really lent itself for me to help people. And I found that a passion that I didn't know existed was to assist people. Also in that, I need to say that a lot of fitness people, professionals, are the most unhealthy people. And me included to some degree. We talked about overcompensating. As a skinny, short boy growing up in Harrow, like I have a 15-year-old, and I often reference, I said, you have to understand what I grew up with. I was at boob level with school dances for the majority of my my career or my education years. And I said, and I didn't want to be at boob level for me personally. So in overcompensating. I wanted to change my physique so that I wouldn't be bullied as much. And so I packed on muscle. It was during Mamma Mia. And I was quite young when I was the second youngest cast member in in the original Mamma Mia. And I gained a lot of muscle mass. And as the castmates told me, I went from a boy to a man in a short period of time. And that was armor for me to protect myself. But me recognizing that, I think, helps relate to other people's struggles of putting on an armor, just in the opposite effect for the weight loss show, which would have been a boundary for them to not let people in by covering it up with unhealthy habits. Yeah.
And so you said that a lot of the people that are typically fit, bodybuilders, etc., are sometimes the unhealthiest in terms of.
Not sometimes, almost always.
Almost always. Yep. Why do you say that?
I think it's like the pendulum swings.
Excess.
Excess. The body is not built to take on that much physical activity for that long, that muscle mass. Like, the organs don't know the difference between unhealthy weight and what we deem as healthy weight.
Healthy weight.
So, like, even myself, as I get older, and I packed on a lot of dense muscle mass, it's time for me to strip that away, because it's not as healthy on my heart, my organs, to sustain that size when I need to be fit, and I need to shift now what those goals are for stability, strength and stamina. And so if I want to run, I got to take off some weight. And going to Italy for the last 2 weeks doesn't help, because all I did was eat pasta and limoncello.
That's right.
after the meal. So that's the balance that I think it does not exist in the fitness world.
It's interesting you say that, because I think a lot of people, they look at the super fit person and they're like, man, I just wish I was fit. I wish I could look like that. But I've never actually, I've been around fitness as a competitive swimmer for, 30 some odd years of my life.
Yeah.
I've never heard somebody talk about like taking weight like off. Yeah. Which is interesting.
Yeah, I think that athleticism with a sport is a little different because it is short-lived. Like, I think you, even with the Danielle interview, where you talk about a window of opportunity that you have with that. With bodybuilding, it's hard for people to give that up. So I think that it just progresses more and more, where it's dense muscle mass upon dense muscle mass. And then that becomes highly unhealthy on your organs.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. So then, okay, so you do all of this, you learn all of this stuff. You start learning all this stuff because your mom been diagnosed.
Yeah.
And I would 100% agree with you when you say, you feel, you seem like an extremely empathetic person who can take on a lot of feelings from the people around him, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
How did that then progress into, you were just helping your other castmates, your other ballet members, et cetera, because they wanted it, because they saw what you were doing, and you are right, there is probably lots of anorexia, bulimia, et cetera, in that world.
Yeah.
We were just talking, just kind of joking about one of the reality TV shows outside.
Age of Attraction?
No, the
Love
other one.
is Blind?
No, the other one. Model one.
Oh, America's Next Top Model.
America's Next Top Model, right?
Yeah.
And you see a lot of eating disorders, et cetera, with people who, because they're supposed to fit this mold that the industry wants you to be.
Right.
And then when you look at it, my wife and I were talking about it the other day, because when that documentary came out about that show, a lot of the stuff that was on that show wouldn't fly today.
Oh, no.
There's no way that stuff would fly
even my
today.
shows, even my reality shows. Yeah.
And why do you say that?
Times have changed, and good. It's great that they've changed.
Yeah.
I think it's a blessing. My next reality show was Newlyweds, the first year, which was a reality show of Bravo TV that did air in Canada as well, where it followed my husband and I's first year of married life together. And it was a year and a half, truth be told, of almost daily filming. But there's so much that would not fly, even that we were a part of.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Like what? If you can say anything.
I just think that when Our marriage was the first legal federal same-sex marriage featured on a reality TV program in the States.
Oh, wow.
Brandon and I.
Wow.
And that had a lot of responsibility. And I think that the audience around us expects us to fall into stereotypes. Right. And we kind of gave into that a bit.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I think so. And
leaned into what they wanted you to be like?
Or like, and identify, like, who takes the garbage out?
Oh,
you know, who's the most
sure.
sensitive one? But I think that inquiring minds wanted to know.
Sure.
And we do, Brandon and I certainly do fit stereotypes. Like we do. I mean, he's the fashion guy. We talked about it. He's the fashion guy.
Stereotypes
I am
exist,
not. Hopefully this is acceptable today.
Luckily, gray and white go together, so my wife didn't say anything to me today, so that's good.
Yeah, and we tried desperately to have a child at the time, a second child, because Brandon's sister and her wife, Bree and Jen, we co-parent a 15-year-old now. He's almost 15, but he was only 2 at the time when we had the reality show together, and I tried to get her pregnant, and with it, there was so many obstacles that we had no idea that we were facing, and being on TV, it was heartbreaking. Like to know that because of our non-traditional coupling and family, there were legal efforts to stop us from accessing IVF and
crazy.
Options. It would cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars, which would be free for traditionally married or together couples, just because we were LGBTQ. And so it was hard for us on TV to realize these things as a same-sex couple and our unique family. We did a turkey baster insemination in Vegas. The first ever. Can you imagine on TV? It was pretty extreme. Yeah. With Brandon and Bree's mom delivering my semen in a champagne flute from one room to another.
Right.
Like, I mean, I'm being honest, but it was jarring and shocking. I don't know if we would do any of those things today.
Right.
I don't think we'd have to.
I don't think you'd have to either.
Right.
Because things have progressed, which is good. Right. Because we need to.
Especially in Canada, we're progressing. I think in the States, it's rolling back very aggressively, which is very disheartening. Yeah. So I'm so thankful to be here in Canada.
Here in Canada, yeah. No, I appreciate it. I mean, we love having you.
Yeah,
being a Canadian boy, being famous all over the world.
Well.
So you do Newlyweds.
Yep.
And then how does that all transition into things like The Amazing Race and all the other shows that you've done?
The Amazing Race came about because my best friend, Catherine Reeford, we got to know each other well by dancing in the Royal Winnipeg Ballet together decades ago. And we've been best friends since. We lived together in major cities, Toronto, New York, LA. We have quite a past in history. And at the time, in 2019, we were invited back to the Royal Winnipeg Ballet to kind of honor the acting careers that we've had coming from a trained dance background with their school. Okay. So it was kind of initiative to show that the quality of dance, even 20 years later from their school, is there and is exceptional, and led to incredible careers for Catherine and I on Broadway. But then the artistry of us being actors as well, coming back to the ballet in the roles, Lord and Lady Capulet in their Romeo and Juliet, they wanted to really bring that artistry back into the ballet. And also they recognized that Catherine, at that point, 6 years before, was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. She had a grapefruit-sized tumor removed from her brain. They got what they could, but it was a terminal diagnosis where she lived 2 to 5 years.
Okay.
So she had cognitive damage done, and they wanted to assist her in revisiting what it was like to be on stage in that capacity, which is a generous gift.
Yeah.
But recognizing that it would be very tough for her, they knew that we were partnered so well throughout the years. So I was included on my own merit too, but certainly they recognized that me being there to support her would be a help. And she improved dramatically, like where the medical industry was wanting to study her and travel her around the world to figure out how she was able to access and develop damaged part of her brain.
Yeah.
And from there, Catherine was so eager to have more improvements and more challenges. So she said, what can we do? I don't want to see this fade away. I want to keep going and keep living. And she kind of looked at that like she needed that in order to continue living. So then I was like, what about that really, really difficult, impossible, stressful show, The Amazing Race Canada? And she said right away, she goes, yes, that's what I want. And I said, if you want it, I'll want it. Because I never would have searched out for it if this wasn't the situation.
Right.
And so when we decided to do it and send in our interview tape, I think her story was so compelling and our dynamic as they look for really strong teams, we felt like if we put it forward, we were going to get it. I think maybe that's manifestations. So it aligned. And when we got it, it was so exciting. And it brought Catherine a lot of security. Then COVID hit. So then they had to deliver a message that said, we're going to postpone it a couple weeks. Because we all know it was really touch and go at first. And then they said it's going to delay it a year. And breaking that news to Catherine with her getting an MRI every 3 months, telling her if she's going to live another 3 months, they were devastated. But lo and behold, medical miracle. And she had that to look forward to, which really, I think, saved her. We got the opportunity in 2022.
Nice.
So that's how we got to doing it. But I wouldn't have actively seeked out that or any kind of competition reality show. No.
Right. So I don't know if this is a controversial question. Do you think?
Give it to me.
Because I believe in the whole manifestation thing. If you want it to happen, you know, you still got to go to work and you still got to go put in some effort and you got to do all that kind of stuff, right? Like as Jim Carrey would say, you can't just think about a goal and then go home and sit on the couch and eat a sandwich. Like you have to actually go to work and still go try to do things. Do you think that there was a point in the maybe application process or whatever that because you're LGBTQ and because of her diagnosis that you thought like, yeah, they'll probably accept us just because of the situation, just because of the circumstance?
I thought that they weren't going to accept us.
You thought it would be the opposite.
Yeah, I thought the opposite because usually you have to have such a clean bill of health that I was like, there's no way Catherine's going to.
Why would they put this person with a condition on a show
that
could
it's
potentially be devastating?
Setting up for failure. And the doctors cleared her. The doctors basically said you should be dead. You can do whatever you want. Right. And she's like, okay,
should have been years
great.
ago. I'll just keep going.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that was her turn. And mine, I actually thought that me having so much reality experience would have definitely hindered the acceptance.
Exclude you from it.
Yeah. And I have a reality experience, but also I was in the States. Like I was mostly working in the States. So I thought that it's Amazing Race Canada. And as we know, Canadians have a lot of pride, and it was hard to communicate in a 3-minute video how much I am Canadian and how much pride
Even
I do
I've
have.
been working in the States and living in the States and stuff.
Right. So I didn't think we were going to get it because of that. But luckily we did. They didn't do their research at all. Like they had no idea that I had any reality experience when we showed up day one. And I know how to work those cameras too.
Right.
So really, I doubt they'll ever have anyone back in the capacity of being a triple threat singer, dancer, actor like Catherine and I, and the fact that I have so much reality experience. I don't think Amazing Race Canada will ever revisit that.
Yeah. So you've said a few times now that in applying for a role or applying for something that the fact that you've had past experience being in front of a camera, maybe people thought, or maybe you think the audience or the producers would think that you're acting or it's not legitimate or it's not real. You've said it a number of times now. Do you find that in society or in Hollywood that they're really trying to look at that kind of thing and say, what is this person's past? And rather than are they the right fit for the show that we're looking for, they're actually saying like, maybe people aren't going to like it because they think they're acting?
In reality TV, anyone that's been a part of reality TV, the repeated theme that gets obnoxious is authenticity, like these producers. And it's the bottom of the barrel part of the entertainment industry, reality TV, to be honest. Like, and I say that not to demean it because there's some brilliance that happens on camera and behind the scenes for sure. But I think that the low-hanging fruit is reality TV in the entertainment industry. And that word authenticity, they're looking for someone that is trying to pull the wool over someone's eyes. And with, as I said, me and Catherine being triple threats and having the luxury of having these great careers, we've learned a lot of things along the way in researching roles. Like we've had these great careers, and when you research a role, you dive into it.
Right.
So like Catherine went to nursing school, right? She has all this great knowledge, and some of the roles I've played too, where it does lend itself to knowing like a plethora of different what we thought was useless skills that helped on The Amazing Race.
Yeah.
But yeah, the authenticity, it's hard for them to accept that someone can have multiple lives in this one.
Right.
The one difference I'll say, and I say this often when I go into universities and talk to students in the arts, is it's, in my opinion, it's all about getting in the room. Like if you environmentally put yourself in these situations to succeed, eventually it's going to happen.
Right.
But it's when you get upset that there's limitations or the no's, the rejection, and then you isolate and you limit what your outreach is, that's where you are limiting yourself. Right. So there's so much talent in this area. And I truly believe if a lot of the people that I even went to school with just physically up themselves and put themselves in New York, or, you know, and there's circumstances, of course, that are far greater than people's will and determination. But the difference is, I feel, is if you can put yourself out there, if you do send in the audition tape for reality TV, you got to do that in order to be considered.
Right.
And if it's one thing I did, it's that.
Yeah, I was going to say, because that's a message that I hear a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Of like, you just got to face the rejection. You just got to kind of do it. You got to put yourself in the right place. What do you think made, I don't want to say this is easy. I don't think it was easy for anybody at a certain point in time. Sooner or later, you're like, it's rejection. It's another no, whatever. Right. But to start that process, you don't really strike me as a guy that when you were younger, really were bothered by the rejection. You know, do you think that's because your parents were so supportive and the community was so supportive and everybody just kind of looked out for you that you were like, I can go do these things, and they cheered you on? Or did you ever have a point in time where you were actually like, I don't know if I should do this thing because they might not like me, and you just didn't go do it because of somebody else's opinion?
Oh my God, all the time. I thank you for bringing this up. I think what my parents did well is they allowed me to process disappointment and rejection. So like, I remember even in speech competitions, you remember those in school that we'd have, and like science fairs?
I hated them.
See, I loved them and I was so passionate about it, but I never won. And I was so upset because as a kid, you know, you strive, I want that first place, I want that. And I was devastated. Like I would be so upset and crying for days. And my parents let me do that. And I think that that's what has gotten me through, because I get terribly upset. Like I was just rejected for Charlottetown Festival for this summer. I got rejected for Royal Manitoba Theatre Center just recently, like 2 Anne of Green Gables in a row. And it destroys me. It does. But I process it, I recognize it, and I'm able to then get over it. That's what I also go into these schools and share, that you are human, and what makes you a great performer is the fact that you are affected. So how do you tell someone don't be affected by the rejection?
Right.
You do. You have to process it, and you have to put it into perspective of what it is. Your life is far grander than one gig, and the universe is aligning what is going to be appropriate and spectacular for you. It's a hard trust to do, but it's the only way to go, because then when success happens, it starts to make sense. And that happens with maturity and with age. And you know, I'm there. I'm almost 50. So I've had a life.
No way.
Oh God,
You're almost 50?
Yes.
I would not have put you there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I'm 38. I would have put you at like 43.
43?
44.
I'll take that. I'll take 49
so
too.
fit, you know?
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'll take my age. I've earned it. I've earned every year. I've earned every wrinkle, and you know, I'm losing the hair. I'm surprised I have what I have right at this point.
Fair enough. So are these some messages that you're also then like passing on to your son?
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know if my parents ever like let me process things, I guess. I mean, they must have. I guess I never really like put it together, but I was never like, I never felt sort of emotional. I was never very empathetic. I am a pretty empathetic person, I think, at least people tell me I am. But I was just like, okay, well, I guess I lost. I guess I'm just going to have to go work harder. And I never really like, I guess I would never say I never really dealt with the emotion. I'm just like, well, okay, next, on to the next thing. And I don't really know where it came from. But are these some things that you're like talking to your son about when he has some failures that in his life, whether it's like school or sports or arts or anything like that, that you're like trying to pass this same coaching or mentorship on to your own kid?
I think by being vulnerable myself, I mean, I think he witnesses the world around him, including us as parents. And we're very different. All four of us are extremely different, which I always tell him, I'm really proud of you for navigating unique relationships with people and still being consistent with who you are and your personality. I give him the space to process and to think on his own before I fill in those gaps. I kind of want him to, and I can gauge that. Yeah. And no, he's really, I feel well-rounded. And we have open communication. And I think just leading by example. I'm not perfect. He sees it. I apologize when I think that I've done some terrible parenting, which certainly I think all parents can relate to, like when you have those moments. And I sit back and I rewind and I say, this is how I feel. I could have done it differently. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I think
I have that as a husband right now. my son is too young for that. He's only 10 months, but man, there's some times where I'm again, male, female, different. She's with him all the time. I'm not. And I'm like, oh, I'll just come home and like play with him, like wrestle or do. And I'm like, well, he's 10 months old. Like my wife's like, be careful. I'm like, I just want to see him. I just want to have fun. And she's like, well, yeah, but you're not here all the time. You're not here every day. Right. And I have to like, okay, like how could I have handled that situation better? How could I have done this thing differently?
Yeah.
Right. I like the fact that you're like, give them space to do it themselves before intervening. Because I think in anything, whether it's business, ballet, anything, right? Like you can't do it for somebody.
Right.
You can't want it. You can't want it for them,
right.
Whether it's success or what. You can't want the role for somebody more than they want it for themselves. But you also have to kind of let people fail, as much as it kind of sucks. But that's the only way they're going to learn. You can coach them, but you got to give it some time, I find.
I'm not going to be able to learn where someone is. This applies for parenting and for even the fitness aspect or wellness aspect of my career in life. I need to get as much information and collect information and allow people to speak and reveal all of that in a comfortable setting, right? So like giving people that space is really important for them to exhaust what they need to get off of their chest. That's where I kind of collect data and information, again, which helped on The Amazing Race. Like to kind of pay attention to the other racers and the producers and the challenges. Like being an observer is really important for success, I find.
Interesting. And so when you say that in the fitness world that you are letting people talk and express themselves in that way, you're hoping that while they're talking, that they're uncovering the thing that they think they need to change?
I guess it varies. Like I think that when someone is working out and this is how I always look at it, especially weight loss. Okay. Let's talk about weight loss. If someone is on that journey and they're putting the physical into motion, right, and they are sweating, I always look at every single pound loss is baggage that has collected on someone over time. And it's not important for them to, and I'm not a trained therapist by any means, but it's not important for us to identify, oh, this is when that abuse happened. This is, those specific situations, but rather the emotions and feelings that can come up from the weight loss journey. Right. So a lot of times if they just have the space to communicate, it is their journey, not mine to manipulate. The reveal is allowing for that excess weight to come off. For me, it's been proven. Like I have helped people lose weight off camera, even in more off camera than on camera, because I've had more opportunity off camera, because of that. It's an emotional journey that they're on, and then the physical is the benefit, the health benefit.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying when you're working out with somebody and they start losing weight, they start going through the exercises, etc. Maybe they do start losing some weight. They, start to see some success, that they start to have this emotional reaction to how difficult they thought it was going to be, but it's actually not that hard. It's just consistency. And then that spirals into other things. Is that what you're saying?
Not before the weight loss. It's the movement. Like if someone is putting athleticism into motion, is when I find that that's when the emotions come out, right? And you can feel it in your own workouts. Like even if someone's bodybuilding, if you tap into who you are as a human as you're working out, all of that energy comes from someplace. Those are the things that I'm talking about from your past. That again, you don't have to identify, but whatever emotions you feel, if that drives your movement, and then the weight loss comes off. So it's harder to put that into motion for people, because a lot of people are fearful, and they get in their head like, oh, why is this so hard for me? And I'm like, you're human. It's not. It's terrible for me too. Like I do not enjoy being on a stair climber. I don't. Like I enjoy the benefits.
Nobody
of
likes
physical,
a stair climber.
Exactly. No one likes, to be truthful, I don't think anyone really likes the physical activity. People that have put it into motion and then see the benefits of it, they like the feel of the benefits.
After the workout's over.
After the workout, or once it starts snowballing and it becomes a habit and something that they immediately tap into, where it chemically changes their mood. But to get jump started, it's not easy. It's not. If I take 2 weeks off, which I did, going to Italy and coming back to it, I have to respect my journey back and not beat myself up.
Right.
Yeah. Why is this so hard for me? I'm a loser. All that still pops into my head, but I know how to kind of counter it and give myself some grace.
Yeah. I was going to say, that's something you taught yourself how to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Like I find the same thing if I'm okay, you know what, time to, make some calls, time to book some appointments for the office, whatever. It's like the first couple are like, oh man, that's a little rusty because I haven't done it in a couple weeks. But then you start getting into it and you're like, oh, this is fine. This is just natural again. And it's easy. But when I was first starting out in the business, like it was hard. Like trying to pick up the phone day after day and then get rejected. Like you have to really learn to like find a way to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I would probably agree with that. Physical fitness is kind of the same. Like once you're in a habit, you can fall out of the habit, but the more you do it, the easier it is to come back to it. You already have that mental fortitude. You've already built up that resiliency to kind of just keep going. It still takes effort. Yeah. But it's just not like a rubber band. It doesn't just come back instantaneously.
Not for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So interesting. Okay. And so if you, we talked a little bit earlier about if all these things hadn't have happened, we wouldn't be where we are today and that kind of stuff. Are there some things though in your past where maybe you feel like you would have done something a little different? Maybe like a failure that you had that maybe you kind of wish you could go back and redo or something?
Oh, I'm sure. I think I would have loved for someone to shift my energy around money and abundance coming from a small town.
We did talk about that a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I think we did over the phone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, where coming from a small town, and especially Canadian, because we don't have, especially when I was younger, we don't have that American dream mentality.
No, we
where
don't.
It's like, oh, I can have this and that. Like it's not really part of my makeup. So going into the US and having even the success on Broadway, it was kind of a hard pill to swallow, and to accept that the successes I was getting. And also, where do I take it from there? Like I remember when my husband and I bought a Land Rover car. I had so much guilt, like I was debating this was a terrible idea just because of the amount of money that it was. But it was 0% financing. It was going to be a car that was going to be able to have us travel appropriately with all of the stuff that we have for filming and for his work and my work. So it made sense, but it was really hard. And that was only 6 years ago for me to adjust my Harrow brain into accepting abundance and or that kind of spending.
Yeah.
So I wish someone shifted that for me, and I would have heard that it's okay. You're not a bad person if you want money and or if you have money come in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, listen, in my business, I talk a lot. I talk about it a lot. I mean, that's what I do, right? As a financial advisor, but the the fact that so many people attach so much stuff to money has always been kind of intriguing to me, because money is really just a tool, right? If you're a good person and you make a lot of money, you're probably going to do a lot of good with it. If you're a bad person and you have a lot of money, you're probably going to do a lot of bad with it. And so, but we don't come, most of us don't come from money, right? And so when you grow up with a certain lifestyle and certain thoughts, certain feelings, whether it's family or friends or that kind of thing around money, it can be really hard to kind of change that, right? Especially when we start making significant money that, you know, not everybody makes every day. Right. So it becomes a little, what do you think was what do you think was sort of the hardest part of that for you when it comes just to this concept of money? And
I think developing relationships that are respectful, like with even producers of Broadway shows or anyone that had money, I kind of looked at them as evil, to be honest. Like, and I'm talking like many years ago, I've shifted that where, as you just said, there's good people with money, but coming from this area, and you know, my parents had, they worked their butts off in middle-class jobs. But I always looked at money, people with money as, can I trust them? How do they get that? Because we don't see that. I don't see people inheriting wealth when I grew up in Harrow. So I shifted that, and certainly I have lots of friends at many financial levels, right? Doesn't matter. But that was something that I had to shift because I'm in that world, right? I'm around
all of it,
all
the time,
and more money than not.
Yeah.
And so how do you accept that and be in a world that you're not bitter, right? Or like judging. So no, I shifted that.
Do you think it's because, I mean, when I got in the business, I was always taught, you know, people, when we're growing up, you hear people use like, that person is filthy rich.
Yeah.
Right. And it's kind of like the mentality around the words that we're using to describe people who have money, because like, yeah, they have a lot of money, but that doesn't mean that they're filthy people in that sense. Right.
Yeah.
Do you think it has a lot to do with that kind of fact, that you just maybe those were the things that were being said around you?
I think I'm learning something today. Yeah. No, I didn't really analyze that, but of course it comes from that. Yeah.
Interesting. And so what do you think, now that you've sort of overcome that, how do you think you kind of feel and operate now? Do you sense not dealing with it, or I don't know how the best way to say this, before you dealt with it, I guess, and before you kind of opened your mind up to that concept, do you find that you looked at your career or your job opportunities or any of the experiences differently than you do now? Right? Because offering, you know, let's just say you got offered a role, let's say 10 years ago for whatever, $1 million a year, versus a role now, having two different trains of thought around money, there must be like some kind of a different feeling or a different thought process. Or do you think before you might have felt like a bad person, whereas now you're just like, it just is?
Well, I've had great success in the entertainment industry, but the level that I've had has not seen incredible wealth. I just haven't. I'm open to it. I've always been like, come on, bring it on. But you know, ensemble contracts on Broadway don't pay a lot, and you get thrilled when you're an understudy and you get on to go on for a week or 2 weeks because you make, you know, quadruple the paycheck that you normally would. So I have seen money come in, but I think in my circumstance, being a foreign worker, and putting so much into my green card and my citizenship, I've had investments that have depleted a lot of my wealth that I haven't seen in Americans there. So like, I wouldn't say I have resentment at all against that or judgment, but I give myself grace that I haven't been able to invest in things differently than other people that were in my same situation, because even the dollar being different, I certainly filtered a lot of money back home to protect family and take care of them with vacations and things like that. So I've lived a life of wealth. Like, I feel like I've always been a millionaire, even though my bank account has never seen that. But that shift I think helps too, where money still comes in. That's why when people ask me, like, what do you do? Sometimes I'm like, I don't know anymore. Like, yes, I'm a performer and I've done reality TV and fitness and all this stuff and books and that, but the money has come in from so many different opportunities in my life. It's hard for me to say I do this for a living.
Yeah.
But the universe certainly does still take care of me. I'm open to that and I need it. I need to shift that energy around money so that I'm able to financially be stable.
Right. Yeah. And it's funny you say that, because that was one of the things I do remember from our initial conversation. Is I was like, all right, so like, tell me what you do, Craig. And you were like, what don't I do? Act, dance, speak, go on TV shows, reality, like all these different things. Like you're not the, I don't want to say average person, not the typical person with a 9-to-5 job, being paid for the same thing all the time. You know, money comes and goes.
Yeah, it does.
Different jobs, right?
It does.
Got to be aware of that at the same time.
Yeah, but I'm also open to people being supportive of me in my life. Like I have to really give it to so many wonderful friends that understand that, and this might come off totally wrong, but that my line of work in entertainment industry is being of service. Like so many people that are part of my life, my family too, they've had incredible fun opportunities because of what I do for a living. And they understand that it doesn't generate a whole lot of income opportunity. So when I've needed it, I've had people step in and help me, which is hard to accept too. You know, we're in like a 40-plus-year-old man, and I'm like, I need help with rent, and it has happened because it's ebb and flow. Like it's not always coming in. In this industry. But now I'm just so grateful that I have an opportunity to kind of mature and grow up, and I do have a home. And thank you, Amazing Race. But everyone thinks I'm loaded from the Amazing Race, and like maybe they get confused with the American show. But even the American one, the taxes are enormous. So $500,000 doesn't let someone fully retire in their circumstance in the again entertainment industry. But everyone thinks I'm loaded. I'm not. Like I still have a house to pay off, and every single dime from my Amazing Race win went into that investment. But I am grown up. Like I have a home.
Right.
And so many people, even my age, don't have that opportunity and that luxury to have.
Yeah, there's tons that are, they are stuck renting. House prices over the last, call it decade, have skyrocketed.
Yeah.
It's not easy for young people, let alone older people, from getting a place if they haven't already got one.
Yeah.
Right. It's not easy. I see it every day. Right. And we talk mainly in the industry of, when you hear it in the news or you see it online, it's, how is the next generation going to be able to afford it? Yeah, sure. But there are other generations beside the next one that are still having a problem because things have just got astronomically expensive in this country. Yeah. Right. So. Yeah.
Brandon, my husband, he works in a salon. He has a salon in Palo Alto in California. And there's a lot of very high-end business people there, socialites and such. And for decades now, he's been told you need a financial advisor. And he keeps saying, like, through the journey, I have no money for it. And they said, that's exactly why. It's like at the balance of, well, how do you pay for one? How do you do all this? But really, that's the number one theme that we've heard for decades. And just recently, we're doing that. Like, I think we talked about it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Where I think we're giving it a go to see how we can create wealth that we are unaware of how to do that.
Yeah, and I think it's a financial literacy thing, right? We are not taught, and I would probably assume it's the same in America, but we are not taught how to manage money or how to save or why we should save or how $5 every week grows to a big number by the time we want to retire. Like, we're just not taught. Right. It's one thing I love about my job is being able to educate people about something that gets me excited about. Very similar to you in that sense, as I get to coach and teach and do other things, but in an area that you love. Yeah. Right. Numbers has just always been something that I've loved to do.
Wow.
Right. So
I
just
admire
kind of
that.
lucky in that sense,
I think it's great. Yeah. I would have loved a class in Harrow Junior School or even Senior School. That would have been marvelous to hear.
Yeah. I hear that a lot when I meet with like teachers and stuff like that. They're like, oh, you should come and teach. But unfortunately, it's, don't want to put the conspiracy hat on, but
Yeah.
you know, it's not banks and it's not government's job to teach us how to manage money.
Right.
Right. They want their taxes, and banks love keeping our money from us. Right. So,
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate.
But it's something too, when I do go into schools and talk to them in high school, art schools and university programs, where I say, you know, this industry is lucrative. Like, I don't want to make it out that like I haven't made any money.
Yeah.
I certainly, you know, Two Broke Girls, I see royalty checks coming in still from years down the road. And it's small stuff, but it still pays for my phone bill.
Right.
Like, there's opportunity in this entertainment industry that are not really taught in schools, where I think because of my experience, I'm able to bridge that gap and tell them. Like, when I first moved to LA, I did this, I showed up and did this print audition, which is for like a magazine, like an ad for Intel Pentium processors or whatever it is. And all they wanted was a yoga pose. I didn't have any yoga experience. I just was like, oh, I think this is it. And I was confident with it. And I got hired for it. And it was more money than I made during Mamma Mia.
Really?
Like, on day one.
Wow.
And all I had to do was stand on an X and slate my name. Like, if you expand what you think of it in the entertainment industry, and I think that a lot of kids don't know that exists, there is money to be made. And it can be really lucrative and fun. It's like, live your life.
Yeah. Very different.
Yeah.
Right. Not 9 to 5, not stuck in an office, not,
Right.
you know, interesting.
But even if it is a 9 to 5 and it turns into one, you know, the studies show that theater kids succeed in other aspects of the business world.
Yeah. Why do you think that is? Because I think it's the creative. I think it's everything is different, kind of go with the flow a little bit more. They're open to different opportunities.
Yeah.
They can problem solve, things like
take
that.
rejection.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And think outside of the box, as you say, like creativity. And I think working with people. Like, one thing that really worked for Catherine and I on The Amazing Race was we didn't look at it as anything other than an ensemble show. We've never, well, just recently we do have our own 2-person show now, but we've never on Broadway had our own show. It's always, we work well with a group. That's how you survive on stage performing, right? You're an ensemble. So we looked at that, and we respected everyone differently than a lot of the other teams did. And we kind of brought everyone in together. And in that process, I think people liked having us around, and liking us around protected us and gave us more longevity too.
Right.
And I think that transfers over to the business world with any theater kids. That's why theater's so important, even in high school.
Yeah.
It really shouldn't be cut. We should be putting more and more money into the arts for creativity and that community-driven part of this world.
Yeah. I mean, I never even thought about it that way, but yeah, just dealing with people, dealing with the rejection, which is all the things that we do all the time, whether it's, you know, trying to find a spouse or friend groups or career paths. Like, we're always meeting new people all the time. Right?
Which is my number one advice to my son is the biggest decision you're ever going to make is a spouse. You know, you can't choose your family except your spouse.
Yep.
And you really have to be solid in what that is and what that looks like for both of you mutually.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. So what's next for you guys then? What's next for you? What's next for you, Brandon? Obviously, I remember you guys are moving here. Is he? You guys threw your party already, didn't you?
No, it's coming up.
Coming up.
Yeah.
Okay.
The permanent residency party.
Yeah.
So I did sponsor Brandon for permanent residency, which we've been putting into motion for years, really. But the opportunity presented itself recently. So we're thrilled that we're here more times than not now.
Okay.
Of course, work still has us abroad. Brandon works with the B-52s and the Go-Go's, and he's on tour with the B-52s over the summer. And the huge benefit I get to do is I'm the Rock Lobster whenever I'm in town with them. So I get to dress up in the Rock Lobster outfit at the end and do some fun dance stuff and be on stage with them. But Catherine and I, my Amazing Race partner, we do keynote presentations that is on the power of friendship and how important human connection is in an AI-driven world. And that really motivates corporations and makes them smile. And it's the first ever story, song, and dance keynote. So it's highly entertaining, but it hits all of the keynote requirements, if you will. And that's been wonderful to travel across Canada and do what we love to do and bring our story of resilience and passion to to people. And then we have our two-person show, Behind the Curtain, which is coming back to this area. We had a sold-out, amazing experience at the Capitol last year, and we want to bring it to Essex County. So we're doing it at the Bank Theater in Leamington on Friday, July 3rd. And tickets go on sale very soon for that.
Neat.
And we have,
what is that about?
Well.
Because I don't know what you're talking about, so I'm kind of interested.
So Behind the Curtain is a full show of Catherine and I and our journey together, a friendship, a decades-long friendship in the entertainment industry. So we tell the stories that have never been shared before. And the way that all of this came to be was Catherine is writing a book. And I'm assisting her and interviewing her for the book that she's going to write. Because we definitely have a lot of impactful stories. Yes. Yeah. And with the book, there was a whole list of these stories that we categorized and put away that should never, ever be shared and should be burned. And then Catherine, at one point, she's like, I have terminal brain cancer. What do I care? And she's like, let's do a whole cabaret on those stories. And because our journey for decades has been together, her stories are my stories. I'm there with her.
Yeah.
So we pieced together this cabaret that is very vulnerable, but relatable. Like people are howling, they're laughing. And then 1 minute later, they're in tears of joy. And because we definitely take everyone through the journey of not just the Amazing Race win, but behind the scenes of our Broadway careers and Catherine's cancer journey. I mean, she's such a remarkable person living with a terminal illness and given 3-month increments at a time. But we sing highlights from our Broadway careers. So a lot of favorite tunes are shared, but the stories are not, they're the behind the scenes, if you will.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I think my wife would love that.
Yeah. So July 3rd in the area. Yeah.
I might have to bring her and the little boy out.
Please, yeah, it's definitely not family friendly. It's adult content only.
Yeah, he's 10 months, so it's fine.
He'll go over his head.
He won't remember. It's fine.
Yeah. Let's just put it this way: my son has not seen the show and won't see it for a few years. Yeah,
10 years.
Yeah, 10 years.
Cool. Well, listen. I mean, we're much over time here, but we could probably talk for a long time. Every time we
and I trust we will again.
100% we will. What is there anything else that you want to share for anybody listening, audience-wise, about anything coming up for you or anything like that?
I'm getting more involved in the community here in Windsor and Essex County. Okay. I'm thrilled. I just love directing, choreographing. So stay tuned. You know, there's some fun things in the works. Okay. And yeah, I just and say hi. I love connecting with this area, and I think that there should be a lot of pride that exists in Windsor and Essex County. I think we have something so special here. Obviously, you know, I've had the luxury of traveling the world, but there's nothing like being home and being here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I didn't grow up here, and I am wholeheartedly with you on that. This is my home now, has been for 8 years, but like yourself, I have traveled the world. I've done 25, 26 countries, done it for swimming, done it just for normal travel, done it to meet friends, but Windsor is just, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that just don't know that it is a great place to be.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful to be here and to have stayed connected with the area. And thank you for everyone for being interested in what I've been doing too. I think my closest friends are from here. They know me better than anyone. You know, I really have not changed a whole lot since that grade 5 boy, you know, at Harrow Senior School. And those friends know it. And it's comforting for me because they are intrigued and they care, but there's not any competition or resentment against me. Like I find that there's some people in the entertainment industry that it's difficult for them to hear and be around stories of other successes that they didn't have, you know, and it triggers them. And that's what's really comforting is that, people are interested, but they just love hearing it so they can see it all and behind the curtain, July 3rd.
Man, I love, we could talk forever. Every time you say something, there's always one more thing. Cause I love what you just said there, but like people need to be aware that if you want some good in your life, you have to actually want good in other people's lives.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Very
like
wise.
I've heard so many times where just like that, where you're like, yeah, they're jealous of someone's success or they're jealous of something that they're doing. But like, if you're jealous of that person having the success,
Yeah.
why would you get it in your own life?
Yeah.
Right?
Abundance is not limited.
Abundance is not limited, right? And just because someone else is winning doesn't mean you're not. You maybe need to reframe some things or rethink some things or change path, but you can win too.
Yep.
Right. And it's not just, well, he's winning, so I'll never win. You can win too.
Yeah.
Right. It's interesting. You
Catherine and I never thought we'd win the Amazing Race. We never did. It never popped in our mind that we would win it. We felt the win. Like we didn't want to discount that. And we sat in that place of, oh, that win feels good. Right. But all we wanted was longevity, and we wanted to be in the game. That's it. And that led us to the finale. And then it was only at the very end of the finale where it even popped in our head that we could win this.
Right.
That wasn't the goal.
Right.
And I think that
It was
transfers
an
over to life.
experience for her. It wasn't just we're coming to win this thing. It's we're coming to have an experience.
But shouldn't that be life?
Yeah.
Shouldn't that be a job? Shouldn't that be a show? Like, it doesn't matter. What I learned over the years is now it doesn't matter if it's on Broadway or Windsor Light Opera or any theater, even locally. What's behind you, that $1 million set, is none of your business as an actor. You're facing forward and you're delivering the same energy to an audience. Doesn't matter where your stage is. That's what I'm saying. I'm thrilled to be back because now I'm able to have fulfillment like I've never had before, right at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so I didn't prepare you for this. We always end the podcast with one question.
Okay.
What does success mean to Craig?
Wow. Success for me would be happiness, smile, something that makes me smile and feel good. I shouldn't even say smile. I should say in the heart. Like, if you follow your feelings from a heart place, as long as it feels good and easy, that's successful. And that doesn't mean that's riches or anything. It's just satisfaction.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, if you can't enjoy and you can't feel good,
Right.
then you got to change something up.
Yep.
It's not fun to go through life not enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah. Lead from the heart.
Yeah. I love that one. It's great. Well, thank you very much, Craig. I appreciate the time. This was a fun conversation.
Yeah.
I know this isn't going to be the last time we have one of these. I'm sure you're going to be a guest on this again.
I'd love to
hear about all the things that you've done for the community in the future.
Great. Thank you.
That's it for another episode, guys, of Cracking the Success Vault with Spectre Group. As always, you can find us on your Apple Podcast, YouTube, Spotify. You know where to find us. Until next time.